What was your experience so far with the 21 convention?
Oh, outstanding, outstanding.
Professional, all across the board. Really good energy with a lot of people, and I just like it because it's a very positive direction.
This, George, this has been a first-class event.
It's fantastic. You guys run a really tight ship. I've been to a lot of conventions over the course of my business career, and I can tell when things are well-run and when things aren't, and this is a very well-run operation. I was very impressed.
It's pretty incredible to see where Anthony's brought it, especially from last year, which was my first year here, and to see the upgrades he's made, it's been incredible.
I've got my notebook, and with every speaker, I've written down about 2 or 3 lines under each of the speakers of just the key prime stuff. That's good. That's good.
It's very surreal, man. I'm really enjoying it. I'm happy to live in such an era where such a thing like this is possible.
I have never seen a group of guys like this, a group of 200 men who are focused, squared away, they're working on their values. Just never met a bigger group of wonderful guys.
It's kind of neat because I've been to a fair amount of conventions in my day, but you never see one where the guys like here you can just see Ed Lattimore talking to Tanner about boxing.
Yeah.
You just sit down and then you tell your boxing experiences. Everybody's kind of pinging off each other. It's nice.
It has been fantastic. And it's been 4 days of guys all on the same page, working in the same direction.
Fascinating meeting some of the people, hearing their stories. You got people traveling from other parts of the world to come here just to see some of the speakers. That's amazing.
The thing that's impressed me is everybody here is very serious.
Yeah.
They're taking it, close to their heart.
What a great convention.
Thanks, George.
Having a talk with Coach Greg Adams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, George. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Your first time at the 21 convention. Tell me what you think.
Well, it's good to see it in person. I'm just glad I got to see it in person. I've heard about it for about 3 or 4 years, and I always had an idea of what it was until I got here and saw it. And you can see the people in the audience. You see the men that are here committed to listening to other content creators, give their message. You get to see them relate to you. Hey, I watch you on YouTube. And you see the man behind the screen. I mean, it's just changed my idea of what the conference is. The professionalism, the staff, the way everything is organized.
Yeah.
It's given me a different perspective about this particular idea, and I'm ready to put some more fire into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long for you to just be one of the guys here. You are now one of the guys.
Right.
One of the team here. And the way that I know that is I'm looking at how the attendees are responding to you.
Yeah.
You can't even walk out there without being surrounded by guys.
Right.
That means your message is important.
Sometimes you don't get it. You're looking at numbers half the time. Oh, I got this many comments, this many subscribers. So that's how you're evaluating your message. If you have a book, you're looking at how many they sold. But not until you meet somebody in person that says, I know you and I watch you, and they can recognize you just walking down the hallway. It gives you a different perspective on the value you're presenting to the people. And not only that, I look at even the content creators, even the people that have big personalities. Even if you don't agree 100% with what they say, there's a mutual respect across the board.
Anthony's a good man, and he wants, as bombastic as he is, he wants families to be good families. He really does want women to be great. He wants men to be great. He wants us to be able to embrace our complementary nature. And the fact that he allows us as speakers and as presenters and as audience members to be able to embrace that and do that, as opposed to just feeding into the misogyny or the misandry or any of these other things that the world tries to throw at us. There's genuine intent there. And so it worked because the intent was there, and then he let the rest of us kind of pick up that ball and run with it.
How do you think the 3 stages work? This is the first time we ever had 3 stages.
I loved it because the energy in each one felt very different. As I got a chance to be in each of the 3 different rooms, it felt almost like you were entering into an entirely different conference as you went through each one of them. And in a lot of ways, they were very complementary. You could see how what was going on with 22 mirrored what was going on in 21, but it was specific to different audiences. And then everything that was going on with 21, the main event, as opposed to the Patriarch, was stuff that was more generalized as far as male self-development, and then patriarch was how do we take this and apply it to fathers and families. And so the energy was awesome. It was fun to get to see all three of them put together. The only downside is that we as speakers, we didn't get to see everybody speak. We didn't get to hang out with all of our friends the way that we wanted to. But I think it's a sacrifice worth making, because I think it's so much better for the attendees to get to pick and choose and kind of play your own adventure and do stuff that way.
Wonderful, as always. Anthony Jonathan just kicking butt. The studio, the people, the atmosphere is a lot of positive energy, and this is one of my best parts is the sit down with the great George Bruno.
Oh, thank you.
I love you,
thank
man.
you.
I mean, the whole event so far is just amazing.
Yeah.
It was really, it just, I don't know the word, but enjoyable, informative, amazing.
What is your impression of the 21 Summit? Now, we combined the 21 Convention, the Patriarch Convention, and the 22 Convention, Make Women Great Again. All three were under the same roof, in the same area. Tell me, what is your impression of the logistics, how it got pulled off? How did we do? What do you think?
You had meals, you had to run security, you had to run travel plans, you had to ensure people were where they needed to be. 3 stages, cameras everywhere, and it was pulled off with flawless execution, to the point where the only issue or complaint I heard was that, man, there's so much going on, I wish I could watch them all. It was incredible to see all of it coming together. And 21Con is doing it right. It's the solution, the way Anthony conducted himself with staying to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty incredible to see where Anthony's brought it.
Yeah, it's everything. It's a fine oiled machine.
And for the amount of moving parts we have going on, it's really impressive what he's done here.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
You have all these men who've lived it are going to help you not fall in the pitfalls we've all fallen into.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the event?
Wow, what a whirlwind. It's been an amazing time. 3 events, 4 days, a lot going on, a lot of moving parts.
Great, it's the second year back. Everybody's phenomenal, well organized. It's a good place to be if you're a guy that wants to excel in the world. Like honestly, if you're stuck, if you're looking for some kind of hint or cue to up your game, to unlock some level of achievement that you haven't hit yet, it's a place to go.
So Ryan, this was your first time speaking at the 21 Convention.
Yeah.
Gotta ask, how has your experience been so far?
It's been fun. It's I actually was worried when I first got here. I have a saying, like, don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
So I figured, I'm like, oh, if I find out Rolo's like a 300-pound fat man, it's gonna fucking kill me. Or if like Hunter's making this up and his wife's fucking a prostitute in Vegas. But it's nice, then you meet these guys and you realize like they are who they say they are. They're personas that they have on Reddit, on Twitter, on Instagram, on their own little things. So it's nice seeing guys, they're doing their thing and they're sharing the knowledge, and it's essentially what it is. At the end of the day, it's guys swapping notes. Like Tanner's not joking around. He knows how to dress and he knows what he's doing. Hunter knows how to get his things done, how to make his mission. So when you meet them then, it's nice. You take a bit of it for yourself. It's like I said before, the only value of a man is the value he has for others, and there's a lot of value here. It's kind of neat because I've been to a fair amount of conventions in my day, but you never see one where the guy's like sitting down, like you have Joe Navarro and just having a speech about the FBI, and you can come sit down and chill with him. But here you can just see Ed Lattimore talking to Tanner about boxing.
Yeah.
You just sit down and then you tell your boxing experiences. Everybody's kind of pinging off each other. It's
yeah.
nice.
And I'm talking with Rollo Tomasi from therationalmale.com, and he's written several books, and you might have read them and you're aware of them. And I don't want to go over that information because he's a dynamic person, and there's constantly information and research coming out of this person's mind here, and that's what we want to tap into today in a little chat and give you some hope as well.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thanks.
The speech went well?
Very well. I gave my speech about the state of the Manosphere, the State of the Manosphere address. I also added in a SWOT analysis. I don't know if you're familiar with what SWOT is. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's what a lot of companies do to sort of assess what it is. A really kind of turning into a resource of men's globalized, universalized experiences online in various forums. My through my work, through other people's work, through various podcasts. I've got my own podcast right now going with the Red Man Group. And so it's not just one form of media. It could be books, it could be, like I said, podcasting. It could be coming to an event like this and learning about it. So, I mean, that's probably the best way I can describe this.
This has been your first ever time speaking at the 21 convention. Really interested in your thoughts on the event. What's your experience been like so far?
Oh, so far it's been fantastic. I think viewers are probably going to see this, or they're going to see the two speeches that I do, but they don't understand the stuff that goes on behind the scenes here. And there's so much more going on at this. And like I said, this is my first time here, so I can't really speak to older prior ones. But there's so much else that's going on. We have meet and greets. I spent close to 3 hours in the hotel bar here just answering questions and just talking to guys, and just that interaction, the network. I need that stuff. I really do, because it gives me material and it gives me like things to think about. We've got, Alan Roger Curry, we've got Richard Cooper, we've got Ivan Throne is here. A lot of these guys who are, fixtures, I think anyways, fixtures in the Red Pill community. And it's not just about angry dudes, spitting hate at each other or spitting hate at women and stuff. And I think anybody who would come to this, who watches these videos or comes to these things, you would know that just how ridiculous that idea is that all it is just about angry guys. Because the guys I meet, and again, we've got some other events that are going to be happening that are off the scene. It's not just about talks. I think that's where a lot of the value of this particular conference is in. But I need that one-on-one, and this convention really provides an opportunity to, you can pick my brain, I can pick your brain, and the great part about this is I get that here. I get the one-on-one, and people are throwing questions at me like I would never would have thought of that if I hadn't been here.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, Rollo, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
It's been great
Thanks for having
you.
me. Yeah.
And with that, you can get first access to Rollo's talk on 21university.com, or by clicking the link underneath this video. This is Mike signing off for the 21 Report with Rollo Tomasi.
So far, what is your impression of the 21 convention?
This, George, this has been a first-class event. I heard about the event last year, and I heard about all the speakers and just the level of quality in terms of the content, the audience, the speakers, etc. And when I got the invite, of course I said sure, but I got to tell you, I was completely shocked. Like, I still am completely shocked at the level of professionalism. From the security, from the setup, from the to the stage, the accommodations, everything has been. It's really blown my mind. And oh, by the way, I've gotten to meet some of my heroes. When I first found the Red Pill, I'm actually rubbing elbows and I'm on the same stage as those guys. So it's been a great experience for me all around.
There's a lot of moving parts and everything is well orchestrated.
Yes.
It really
yes,
is.
Absolutely.
George Bruno with the 21 Report. We're at the 21 convention, the final event of the decade. And I'm having a conversation with Donovan Sharp. Welcome.
How you doing, George? Good to see you again, man.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just how this goes. I mean, anything that's lasted as long as this is what, Anthony's 17th or 18th convention.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, guess what? 2 years from now, the 21 convention is going to look very different than what it looks like today.
Yeah.
There are going to be new faces, new places, et cetera, et cetera. But I think one lesson that can be learned from this is that one man does not a convention make.
Yeah.
Two men, no. This is absolutely a group effort. This is a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Even though we don't have some of the guys that we have had in the past, the convention is still every bit as top-notch, as quality, as first class as it was when I was here the last time and the time before last.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I miss those guys. I really do. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still good friends with a lot of those guys. But, the show must go on. The train stays on the tracks. And I think if I've learned anything, from what's happened here over the past, I guess, 8 to 10 months or so, is that we have something good here. We can continue to do what we're doing. People are going to be added. People are going to be dropped off for whatever reason. but I like that the 21 convention survived that schism, right?
It did.
It was touch and go there for a little while, but we all remained steadfast, and here we are, man. The last event of the decade. It doesn't appear that things are going to slow down, so I'm excited to be a part of it, man. I'm glad that we survived it.
You've never done anything other than 21 conventions.
That's right.
Is
Yeah,
that right?
That's right.
Wow. So that really is blazing some new ground.
It
for
is.
you.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, obviously, you guys were in Poland not too long ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it there. But yeah, it's good to see guys from all over. It's good to see guys that are from states other than the Eastern Seaboard.
Next year, it's going to be in another city in Poland.
Okay.
And it's going to be even stronger.
Good.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah,
So-
I might actually make it out to that one, depending upon when that is. Like I said, I've got a lot of changes going on, but I
Yeah.
would love to be a part of that. That would be great.
All right. What do you think of the convention so far?
Listen, just like last time, it's a world-class event, great food, great people. I got to shake a lot of hands, got to talk to a lot of people, a lot of guys I've never met before I came here. Like Elliot Hulse, I just shook his hand. Rollo Tomasi, of course, I'm really good friends with him. But listen, again, it's been a world-class event. Like, you really can't put into words the accommodations, the events, the organization, the crew. I mean, everyone is, even including yourself, you're a true professional. And that's why I like coming to these, because I know they're going to be run professionally. At the end of the day, we're all on the same side, and I like that this is the venue to do that.
What I've noticed about the 21 convention is that it tends to attract the cream of the crop, the very best, in my opinion. I might be wrong, maybe they're all liars, maybe I'm a liar, I don't know. But in my opinion, the best that the world has to offer. And I think that's obviously largely I think that is largely to do with the discerning judgment of Anthony Johnson, because he's the guy at the end of the day who decides who's speaking. But also, it's because guys who can't handle it, who are not good enough, are not willing to stand up there and be exposed. There are other places where they can get up and waffle and, do convoluted sales pitches and use NLP tricks, and it'll kind of pass, but here it won't, because the other speakers know what they're looking at. Game respects game and recognizes game, and it's a pretty horrible thing to be in a room full of people who know what they're doing and to be standing there pretending that you know what you're doing. So I think a lot of guys just would not be willing to put their balls on the line to be exposed. So the convention attracts high quality because it demands high quality. And as a result, the attendees reflect this as well. And I see this in my own business, is the guys who come to me for training are awesome. They're guys I would be friends with. They're guys who tend to have their shit together in other areas, but for whatever reason have just not refined their social skills. Or maybe they have and they want more or they want better. And that's a fantastic thing, to come to a convention where every guy that comes and asks me a question or that I speak to is a legit person, is somebody who can look you in the eye, who can shake your hand, who's not trying to prove themselves or amog you or cut holes in your theories just to validate themselves. They're people who are there willing and able to learn because they have already reached a certain point of their own personal evolution. And this is simply a reflection of what we're putting out there. Anthony came with pure ideals. I'm sure they will change and grow and evolve over the years, but his integrity has remained the same. He's attracted men to speak with integrity and attracted attendees who want to live that truth as well.
It went pretty good. I'm a student of the truth and reality. When I walk around the world, I see the truth before me. You don't want to get caught lying to people.
Yeah.
I try not to do that. I'm not a terrible liar anyway. Never been good at it.
Yeah. I was really honored to be invited. Caught completely off guard. I had a conversation with Anthony off air. You got people traveling from other parts of the world to come here just to see some of the speakers. That's amazing.
I love the event. Very high quality men, diverse group of guys. What I love about what you guys are doing here is that the conversations here are those father to son conversations that aren't happening anymore.
It's evolved so much. I really appreciate how Anthony has allowed you speakers to evolve and to grow and to share that and to encourage that with all the other men here.
Not only did we sit down and say we're going to come together and meet in mass and we're going to do this, we're going to socialize like socialized being, like civilized men, but we're going to take it a step further. We are going to dare have a conversation about the sexes, openly, honestly and engage the women that attended.
With the sexes.
That's
it wasn't
correct.
just men talking about women.
This was not a convention of women, fix yourselves. It was not that. I mean, there was a degree of, hey, there is something seriously wrong and you need to take agency.
Yes.
Okay? There's completely different, but the conversations that were had between men and women, the dialogue that were coming back and forth.
And since I've met Anthony, I've been blown away. I mean, it's just layers to his drive. It's layers to how he sets things up. And he's like the model that I always try to tweet to guys. If you want to do it right, get with Anthony, because he gets with good speakers like yourself, and he knows what he's doing. Everything's second to none. It's just A1, like 5 stars all the way.
Well, it's very interesting. I didn't know much about the organization. When Anthony reached out to me, he approached me saying, "Look, you're one of the leaders out there in the area of communication. The people attending, I think, would like to hear about what you teach." The way that you teach and the subject that you teach on, and I'm always for sharing information. I mean, 12 years ago, I was approached by poker players who wanted me to share my knowledge with them, and I've said I've never played poker, but I shared my knowledge with them because. Why not? Why shouldn't they know how the brain reacts to stress and to different situations? And in the same way, from talking to the people attending the 21 convention, everyone's here for a different reason. Some people want to improve themselves. Some want to improve the way they communicate with others. Some want to improve their lives. Everybody has a different take. And I think it's helpful if you understand human behavior, then it doesn't matter what niche you're in. Once you understand human behavior, then you can do whatever you want in your life, but do so more effectively.
I've been here, this is my 4th year being part of this, and as much as I've enjoyed coming and being a part of this over the past few years, I'm married, I have 4 kids, and so a lot of times as we talk about it, in previous years, there's been a lot of talk about pickup or dating or all these other things. And, I understand that there are more men who are in that position kind of within our sphere of the internet than there are who are in positions that we're in, whether that's, married or divorced or fathers or anything else like that. But to have this kind of expansion to where this is something that is now being acknowledged as this is a major part of masculinity. It's not just how many women you can sleep with, but what's your legacy? What are you leaving? I felt like this weekend that I personally am more amongst my own people than I have in previous years. Yeah.
Totally exceeded my expectations. Totally. And I didn't know honestly what to expect. I've had some experiences with other, more specifically just dating relationships oriented events. They had their strengths, they had their weaknesses, but I just didn't know what to expect. And number one, I was extremely impressed when I learned. I never knew that Anthony was that young.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's got this ball rolling when he was 17 just blew my mind away. And the diversity of the attendees really impressed me. And I've been hearing so many stories shared, not only just in terms of race and ethnicity, but in terms of socioeconomic background, geographically, and it's so well organized, and the speakers are so powerful. Like, again, I don't want to disparage any other speaking event, but there's some speaking events where it had its percentage of good speakers, but it had just speakers where I shake my head like, why is this guy even speaking? Nobody has provoked that reaction from me at this conference. I've listened attentively to every speaker, and they all had great knowledge, wisdom, and insight to share with the audience.
Oh, outstanding, outstanding. Total kudos to Anthony. He's raised his game to another level, because I thought last year was outstanding. And this year is another notch up. The setup, the group of guys, all the speakers were just, I thought all of them were great. So I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. And the most thing I've enjoyed is interacting with the attendees, because you know, they just been coming up to me with questions. A lot of them weren't familiar with me. Now they are.
Yeah.
And it's just been a great, gratifying experience.
And also what's interesting about 21 is that they have people coming at that from different angles and different worldviews.
Mm-hmm.
People are coming here wanting to grow and change. They're wanting to be exposed, right? So there's guys sitting through these different workshops wanting to know, how can I get in better shape? How can I lead my wife? Like, why do I feel so disconnected? All that, they're coming here with that mindset.
There's a bigger crowd here, and I think there's a more vibrancy here, and I'm not sure what it is. Like, it was quieter last year, I think. And this year, the guys are much more engaged, I guess you could say. And the speakers are much more coming together and engaged. I don't know, there's something living in this one that I'm not saying the last one wasn't, but there's some vibrancy which bodes well for the future. You know, I don't know how to say it.
Well, it has been fantastic, and it's been 4 days of guys all on the same page, working in the same direction.
And then you realize that emotions are flowing around in us all the time. Why is that? And usually it's because we're not mindful of it, we're not purposeful of it. We're letting this sort of cosmic soup bubble over without any kind of deliberateness or intentiveness to it. And so much of the book is about just being...
There is a moment of enlightenment or potential enlightenment that can happen to everyone and anyone on their life's journey. And this, not because of me or even the convention, this can be yours.
If you're sat around hoping, you're not acting, and action is the only resolution. Now is the time not to be just sat there, oh, well, let's hope everything works out. Give up hope. It's not going to work out okay. The boss is already tipping off the edge of the cliff. We see that in every area of society. We've got to do something.
It was cool to see the evolution and to see the progress. And it's not for everybody in the audience, and that's fine, but the fact that Anthony is willing to say, I don't care, come in and talk, as long as you're trying to help men be better, and if that's the channel that you're doing it, then do it. And the fact that it did resonate with so many men in the audience was really awesome.
But an amazing experience, especially to see the specific niche for the 21 convention. Hear this man on fatherhood, patriarchy, and building families and building legacies and learning how to fundamentally and properly do those things with a framework of knowledge and vision and purpose. I don't see that available anywhere else.
21 convention weekend really broadened it, and it's really about personal development for men, inside out, for all men, and it's been amazing to hear the other speakers.
I just love it. Like I said, is that, taking nothing away from the previous 16 events, 3 of which I've spoken at in the past, this just resonates. It's the right place at the right time.
It's been fantastic, man. Everybody I've met, everybody here is very, very genuine. It's been great. I mean, we're having so much fun at night. Like, the speakers are great during the day. The guys are learning a lot. The night, the party's been so much fun. I've met tons of girls, but it's been cool. The guys have been awesome.
Because I've sat in on the majority of the sessions, why not? I mean, there are people here who are experts in their fields. We can't be an expert in all fields. There's something to be learned from every single speaker. And I think it's an honor to be able to listen to these people and then converse with them and meet and network with them. I think to pass up that opportunity would be insane.
I know we're starting to have a really great dialogue and everything else, and this is one of the things I really love about the 21 convention. It's not just the free presentations or this video that you'll see, is the fact that 10 minutes from now, the entire group and attendees will have access to me for another 72 hours. That we will be able to share, develop that cultural network, those social bonding elements, and that to me is truly with the value of coming. It's not just the videos, as much as we all like the videos, it's to be able to talk to the people. It's able to talk to Doug McGuff and talk about fitness and health and strengthening muscles and how does that deal with strengthening virtues, and looking at Ed Aiken and talking about a virtuous guy who's all fucking alpha. I mean, really, the guy's a beast. you know, and in having that play in relationships and to be able to show him in comparison to, you know, something that would be countered, you know, terribly antisocial.
I mean, we are on such, like the arc of history right now. There's so much going on. I really feel like this was the place to be. It's a summit. It's got all, you know, patriarchs, 21 convention, 22 convention. Energy is incredible.
And you've seen this conference since 2017, when you were the beard guy, as Tanner Guzzi called you, and as I've called you. What's it been like seeing, you know, from the first event, 2017, to now 2020? I mean, this is a big difference, never mind the events in between. But 2017, that was a big event, 10-year anniversary event, 3-conference experience. Your thoughts?
It's multifaceted. It's never been a one-trick pony, but there were people who would call this a pickup conference, a how to get laid conference, how to conduct yourself, red pill kind of stuff. And it's so much more than that. And it has evolved into a conference for the total man. The total man.
What does the average the average potential attendee?
Professional, all across the board. I mean, everyone knows what's going on. I mean, the back stuff that's going on as far as, okay, go here, this is timed perfectly. Great presentation. I've been doing this, and I said it last year, long time, 26 years teaching men in seminars. This is the best seminar I've ever been to as far as that goes. Even better than David D'Angelo's back at the time. This is way more set up. This is good. Absolutely. Top notch. I've done a lot of speaking everywhere. I was a professional hypnotist comedy for 3 years, so I know breakdown, I know setup, I know how it is to run seminars, and I've done it over the years. And this is one of the most professional setups that I've seen. Anthony was definitely on point. He had, you know, the speakers taken care of. He had the attendants take care of. He was on point with his timing. It was smooth. It was a great experience, and the quality of speakers were great, and the quality of men that were there. That was, I think, the first thing that I said when I came on there is, looking at you guys are a higher grade of men that are here, which is nice to see, because a few years ago after the game came out, it was really loose, and the quality of men and the way that the philosophy was after the game got really twisted. And now it's coming back to these very solid teachers that have been around, worth their weight in gold. And now it's really starting to show, because they don't have to weed and work and sift their way through all these wannabes that used to be there. Now these are the key players. This is the best information you're going to get. So it's going to accelerate your learning. And so this conference has been great, and you know, kudos to Anthony for doing a great job. Yeah. I mean, even this right here, you don't have that.
I think it's incredible. I recorded a podcast this morning for my podcast, incidentally, the Rugged Legacy podcast, with Zach Small this morning. And we were talking about, you can see it in the eyes of the attendees that they were hungry for some sort of a connection with other men, because, you know, brotherhood is now frowned upon, right? Why do you need a bunch of guy friends? What's wrong with you? You know, that kind of thing, you know, or, oh, look, it's a group of girls. Just shaming men for wanting camaraderie and brotherhood. Yeah. And I've watched attendees will come up and just, hey, can I sit with you? And I sit there, and they're sitting there at my table with me, and they're just telling me about, hey, I've loved your content online, I've loved this, I love your products, or they don't even, some of them don't even know I have products, right? And we just have a conversation for 20 minutes, and there's a bond there. I remember the guy's name, I remember he's got 2 kids, a wife, and a dog. And you see these happening with the other attendees, with each other. They're making connections with people they've never met before. And they're building these bonds where now they have a network of people that may have the same kind of problems they have, and they can relate to, and they can, you know, bounce those things off of. And it's beautiful, because men, especially today, are hungry for a brotherhood of other men. And it doesn't have to be, you know, something like what we have with Zach Small and Craig James's group, the Fraternity of Excellence. You know, I am a proud member. But you can just get a group of guys to go to the park and do nothing. I guarantee you within 10 minutes you're going to be seeing who can hit that tree with that rock, and you're going to break in conversation, and you're going to start building bonds that you've needed. And I'm seeing those things happening here. Because I guess the reason for the convention is just to bring them here, because we have fun on stage, but the magic happens in the side conversations by the pool over, a glass of whiskey.
I really enjoyed the Austin convention. I thought it was a great combination of topics and speakers. Same thing here. I mean, it's really interesting to me. I really like the format of having what I consider to be a kind of intimate conference. It's a small number of people. I mean, it's a good number of people, lots of different backgrounds, lots of different interactions, but it's intimate enough that you basically over the 3 days, you have a chance to talk to everybody. And that's one of the things that's different about this from a lot of conventions, a lot of conferences that I go to, where it's big, large audiences, and you never get to connect with the people, and you never get to connect with the other speakers, and it's just this thing where you kind of show up, there's a big audience, you do it, you're done, you get a few questions afterwards, and then you're just so overwhelmed that you don't get a chance to have those conversations. This year I've had some great conversations, some great interactions, learned a lot of things from some of the attendees, from some of the other speakers. It's that kind of interactivity that to me really sets it apart. That you get to have that one-on-one contact or small group discussion and hear people arguing and kind of sorting out ideas together. That just doesn't happen. And it's a unique value that the convention provides.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to process everything. It's just been an amazing experience. I think the biggest thing for me is just seeing, we talk about it a lot. We're online, we're talking about men coming together, acting like men, seeing that camaraderie, seeing the spirit of masculinity here so powerful is really the biggest takeaway. Just being in this environment, being able to talk to so many people and the conversations that we're having, and just being in person, there's nothing that quite matches it. So.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's a very professionally run program. It's on time. I was very impressed with that, and I think people are seeking information. I could pick up on that. Just a few questions I answered after the talk, and I saw a couple of people during the luncheon. I got here a little early, so I got one of them I knew. So I sat with him. We had a nice talk. So I think it's a nice conference, nice program.
Good question. It's time to be an adult. The adult pill is the ultimate pill, as far as I'm concerned. It's time to put away the baby food and the baby bottle and the diapers and stop shitting yourself. Right? It's time to have some solid food and grow up and be a man. That's why we call it the Manosphere. It's not the baby sphere.
One of the big differences that I've noticed is just the level of the guys who are here as attendees is just higher. Like you can tell that, and some of these guys, even if it's their first time, just the audience that's being appealed to, it's just better guys. Like it's guys who are really putting to action the principles that are talked about on the YouTube channel, that are being talked about by the other speakers. And what's so fun is being able to see it move, even in just small steps, out of somewhat theory into actual application. And you're seeing these men actually make progress in their lives and become more of the idealized men that they want to be, as opposed, because it's really easy to talk about this stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
It's so easy, and you get the dopamine hit of like, I'm talking about this, and these are the kind of, but to actually see men who are here and they're putting it into action is awesome.
Number one is that it is really good to see men running it and organizing it. Everything is just moving. Because normally the women take over and the men kind of sit back and do nothing. So that is really, really impressive. And number two, just see the men working on overcoming, coming back to the natural state. The speakers that I have heard have been amazing too, so you have great speakers.
Let me tell you something. Anthony, the speakers is just great. I love the chemistry, the camaraderie. It's just, everybody's learning, the workshops is, again, just like it was in Orlando, just A1.
I felt a lot of hope and a lot of encouragement that there are this many men and that they want to make the world bigger and better, and they want it for everyone.
It's exactly what I expected, but feeling it is something different.
It's the same as saying, have you seen the mountains? I can explain them to you, but you have to be in the midst of it to see the impact that they can have on your psyche and whatnot. So that's how I feel about everything I've experienced.
This was a groundbreaking event for me. The things that I learned here, the people that I've met, the caliber of people that I have met, the information that I garnered, I'm much better equipped today as a man, as a father, than I ever thought that I could be.
Well, I think it was just a really productive group. Everything, there was no drama, which is nice. I didn't notice any drama, really, and you have a lot of productive people getting together and sharing ideas. I enjoyed it specifically just because I wasn't speaking this year, and so I just got to have fun and attend the conference and meet with a lot of my really colleagues in my industry at this point. It's really a business conference for me.
I was saying in my talk, I have never seen a group of guys like this, a group of 200 men who are focused, squared away, they're working on their values. It's unusual, to say the least, and just a lighthearted crowd. I mean, just never met a bigger group of wonderful guys.
They're hungry, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I enjoy speaking at the 21 convention. It's a smart audience. And so the quality of the questions are a lot better. You usually get more thoughtful questions.
I had no idea how awesome and what a great, fantastic thing Anthony Johnson's put together here.
I just kept looking at the schedule going, I want to be here, but I want to be here. I don't want to miss this guy. I know this guy too well. It's his first time. I got to be there for him.
These people are going to get to take home hope that even if their situation's not all that great right now, or even if it's perfect, that they can either make it better or be able to maintain the level of perfection that they've had because they've got new insights and new strategies for any other obstacles that could come their way. They're not going to leave here thinking, I'm a loser. They're going to stay here thinking, this is just one step of many that's going to lead me to greatness.
You know, truth to be told, I haven't spoken at anyone else's events in a long time, but I think you have a much bigger audience, and I think one of the other things is the slant towards the men's rights movement and red pill, and Anthony's message that destroying feminism is a actually creative, positive thing to do. We also have to move towards positive masculinity. I've never heard that term brought up before. So the other places I've spoken at, it's been strictly PUA. This is the first time I've stepped into an arena, to use that metaphor, where it's more than PUA going. I know they have red pill here. I have significant disagreements with red pill. I think there are big holes in it. I also like a lot of what's in there.
And I'll share with them the hope that they'll find it. And that's what I like, hope here. It's mostly about hope, and it's a dark, cynical time. So
it's a weekend of hope, isn't it?
It really is.
It's just like 4 days of just rapid fire hope.
It's fantastic. You guys are in a really tight ship. I've been to a lot of conventions over the course of my business career, and I can tell when things are well run and when things aren't, and this is a very well run operation. I was very impressed.
Consuming content about bettering ourselves as individuals, pretty amazing.
You know, that we see this at 21 convention. This is a convention of men of agency, especially the ones who are organizing and speaking here. Come to 21 convention, find other avenues where you can be around good men who have agency, who make things happen in the world.
So much more than sitting in an audience watching a man on a stage. That's a small part of it. The dinners in the evenings, the conversations in the hallways, the connections that people make, the conversations, the challenging, the collaborations. All of that just makes it such a high quality event that men are speechless when I ask them, so how do you like it? And they gotta think. They gotta come up with words to describe what they got out of it. A lot of guys will say, I'll say, so what did you think of the event? They'll say, have you got about 3 hours?
Wow.
Yeah. They can't stop talking about it. Many times they're just saying, literally, wow. Yeah. And that's even the new speakers that are...
Well, it's Anthony has put it together, and I understand how his business model works. So that for him, this event basically sets the stage how he interacts, you know, through his other avenues like his websites and videos and you know, various. I don't know everything about it, but it does appear to have grown and have a much more enthusiastic following at convention time, right? Now, I haven't been that much aware or involved in all the online activity throughout the year, and seriously, you know, I'm not a guy who came from either the, you know, whatever it is, Pickup or Game or Red Pill or anything like that. I'm peripherally familiar, but not really even enough to make distinctions between those three things, which I guess, you know, most of you dudes can. But you know what I do know is that when I first came and started and hearing some of these guys talk, you know, about the dating scene and stuff like that, I realized that a lot of people have misconception about it. It's really, we were talking about this last night. It says it really doesn't. You could be here, a single guy, looking for, you know, how to do better with women. Really, what it is, though, to me, my impression, is it's lessons in how to have self-confidence and hold yourself correctly, not get trampled on and walked on, that you have needs too and you have to see to those, or it's just not going to work anyway, right? And so in that respect, it has wide application to a number of different things: business deals, relationships with, you know, with other people in various levels, even family type stuff and everything. So yes, it's really I think it has a wider application, and so that probably gives Anthony many avenues towards expanding this brand as time goes on.
There were more applauses, more hand clapping going on during this event than other events.
Right.
We're just all feeding off of each other. And that's what really movements and intellectual movements and all these things do. You get all these minds together and then they feed off of each other and riff off of each other. So it was really productive, I think.
Obviously the event's grown a lot. You know, I think the first time I spoke, it was maybe a 2-day event. I don't remember, I'm not sure, but I know now I think it's 4 days. And it seems, every year it seems to be growing. And a couple of things that haven't changed, though. Always a great audience, usually get phenomenal questions. And you can really tell that people are thinking. They're not just sitting there just letting it kind of soak in. They're thinking about what you're talking about. And I appreciate that. I prefer a intelligent and thoughtful audience to one that just sits there and just says, okay, well, he says that, so that's it. You know? Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, me, or anybody else. You want to consider all that information critically and challenge it when it doesn't quite mesh with other things that you think. So it's great. It's good questions, a smart audience.
It was a fantastic lineup. Anthony did a stellar job putting this together this year.
I was talking with one of the female attendees last night, and towards the end of the talk, I just put my hand out and shook her hand and said, "Thank you for coming." She goes, "This is amazing." I said, you know, and I thought she was talking about the event. She was talking about the handshake and the way that I was addressing her. She says, "Every man that I met this weekend shook my hand with intent." And I quote that, "shook my hand with intent, made eye contact with me." She says, "I felt like I was shaking the hands of men all weekend." She goes, "I'm not used to that."
First speech was in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, at Orlando. So this was my 4th 21 convention speech.
Oh, great. I mean, it's bigger than last year. There's really good energy with a lot of people. And I just like it because it's a very positive direction.
This is a very valuable conference for the attendees and the speakers.
I would say stirring practical talks, good food, and great fellowship. I mean, it sounds corny, but that's what it is. It's guys hanging out. How can I be a better man? Not how can I be macho, right? Like we can create a distinction between macho and truly manly.
Yeah.
These are guys that are trying to be excellent. So if you want to grow as a man in your finances and your physique, And thankfully now, also spiritually, this is a place that you can start to do that.
So it's grown to be more than just this singular focus, to be much more of a broad focus. And Father is going to play into that, at least in the periphery. For some of these guys, it might not be now, it might be later, but it's a component. And so to be able to bridge that gap, and maybe what this does is bring in some other people to talk about other things.
You know, but that's so indicative and representative of the bigger thing, and it's trying to make men live up to what our full potential is, help women live up to what their full potential is, and help society realize that the complementary nature of that is better for everybody. And she got to experience that throughout the whole conference, and then it got encapsulated in that whole concept of a handshake.
Amazing.
That's a win.
It is.
The treatment, the love, everything. Just everything is. I just love it all, man.
I've got my notebook, and with every speaker, I've written down about 2 or 3 lines under each of the speakers of just the key prime stuff. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Got to remember that.
Real guys are great. Outstanding production. Yeah, it actually exceeded my expectations. I try to keep a neutral mindset about everything. That way, if it goes one way, I'm not upset. If it goes this way, I'm cool. So in the neutral zone, but this actually exceeded my expectations.
Okay. That has a page with all the links to a blog, various interviews I've done with Anthony and others through the years, links to videos I've done. So it's all on that one webpage.
The thing that's impressed me is everybody here is very serious about themselves. Like they came here to really like the process of their personal evolution. They're taking it close to their heart.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a meetup of guys to hear about bro topics.
I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to pull this off. I don't think anyone did. Everyone saw what was going on, and I thought, okay, is this a PR stunt? Seriously.
Wow.
Because you don't check with me to make sure things are okay before you do them. You do them.
Mhm.
It's not like you sit there and meet with a bunch of advisors.
Yeah.
You announce what you're going to do, and then you do it.
I believe in the dream.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are sitting there scratching their heads, even in your inner circle, going, oh gosh, there goes Anthony again. Truth. It's
Socrates
the truth.
has had that experience for a long time, since
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you pulled off Poland last year. Holy cow.
That was hard.
Yeah. It was a great event. It was a great event. You pulled off Patriarch last year, the first one.
I'm happy to live in such an era where such a thing like this is possible.
It was very well organized. There have been a bunch of times when people have said, why don't you speak at the 21 convention? Going all the way back to when it was the under 21 convention. It wasn't because of its being in Florida or whatever, it was just, it didn't seem to be a fit at the time. And I've never been a pickup person. It's not what I'm about. I often say that pickup is about customer acquisition. And I'm much more about customer relationship management and maintenance. Okay. I don't have any exes. I just have girlfriends in remission. And more often than not, they come out of remission when they break up with the new guy that they're seeing or whatever, sometimes earlier than that. So I just didn't know that my message would have an audience here, but I was very delighted and impressed. This has been a great show. The other speakers are terrific. I was very happy to be here with a bunch of colleagues of mine that I know well and I've worked with many times. Zan Pirian's here, Hypnotica, Eric von Sydow's here, Alan Roger Curry's here. I've been on the road with these guys internationally many times. It's a joy to hear as they up their game and bring the news.
Yeah.
And each one of us is here with the same objective. We want to spread the word, knowing that eventually that word, for the people who listen to us, will become legs.
And interestingly enough, the basis for that book and the reason I was asked to write it was the 21 convention talk that I gave in Austin.
Everybody's parent, at least one parent, has said to a child sometime during the parenting, it's not what you say, but how you say it. And I don't think anyone changed their message. This was not red pill light.
Yeah.
This was not going easy on women because they're women.
Yeah.
The way we did it, I did not compromise my convictions at all. I did not go easy on women. 21 organization is now going deeper. And we're being respected for it.
They're here, they're willing to learn. They're super excited, they're super grateful. I love when they come up and ask questions afterwards. I love to be able to help them. They're very responsive, they're very absorbent, and the type of person who makes the financial decision and plans a trip to come here and improve themselves. They have a particular character aspect that is very admirable, and it's great to be around people like that, people who are willing to improve themselves and invest in themselves and go out of their way to improve themselves and improve their life. So I'm really impressed by the attendees.
Come to an event like this and to get with other like-minded men that you can trust.
Everyone is trying to be very practical. No matter what they're talking about, they'll end with steps of action. So everything's about moving forward and about growing. I'd like to see more of that at men's conference. We should.
And the guys here know that they're going to get better. And this time next year, when they come back, I say if, but when they come back, you're going to see different guys. Vastly improved.
It's like there's so much, it's just really fun to be part of such a diverse group of guys who just really love to be together.
Yeah.
Because there's a really singular focus with this.
There's a mindset here, abundance mindset. I always say champion mindset. And so I think women came here to learn.
I've been here, now for this one, other than Anthony, I've been here longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the convention this weekend?
I really enjoyed it.
Now that I'm here, I've enjoyed it. And particularly, I like the talks today.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed my 21 Con experience. This has been a lot of fun first time, and now this week it's been good too.
Meeting new people, it's talking with the speakers, and it's just the atmosphere and the environment. It was second to none. Perfect.
Now, when Anthony found me, I came on board just as a speaker, and that was it. And it all kind of took off from there.
So to have speakers here from all those kind of core issues of life, I think is really exciting, and I think the students here have been really amazing for exactly that reason.
Right. It's establishing yourself as a man with your own identity.
Excellent.
And then bringing that out to the world and communicate it congruently.
How do you like the convention so far?
I love it. And I love what it stands for more than anything, what it means.
Yes.
It's a sign of the times.
It's like the biggest one by far that we've had. Yeah. Like the energy is incredible. Everybody who came here came here because they want to be part of history.
Yeah.
So far, it's like this is obviously to a lot of people something that is very much needed.
They said lonely at the top. It is indeed lonely at the top. So the 21 convention, it's not lonely here. Not one man, not one person, because we're all growing and moving.
If Anthony wants, he could end up on national networks talking about this.
And build yourself into the person this year so that you can be part of the new world we're going to be creating in the future.
It seems to be ironic that the biggest criticism, or the most common criticism levied at the 21 convention as a whole is its consistency, but that's misperceived as being a dogma by many critics. Consistently, they have talkers on exercise who come from a high intensity training perspective, talkers on nutrition from a Paleolithic or an evolutionary perspective, people who are talking on pickup on similar topics, and philosophically and politically, from a rational perspective, from an objectivist style perspective. And it's interesting that the fact that this is consistent is levied as a criticism, because knowing Anthony personally, he's a critical and active-minded guy. And when he finds something that he knows to be true based upon the evidence he's seen, he'll consistently go with that idea and apply it congruently throughout his life, and therefore throughout the convention. But in the same respect, I know from talking to him that he in the past has held completely counter ideas to this, completely contradictory ideas. And when presented with evidence that's undeniable that those ideas are false and that another set of ideas are true, he's changed his ideas, and that's shone through in the way the 21 convention has been presented. At the moment, Anthony is sure of the ideas he is presenting in the convention. He's confident of them, and therefore they're consistent. I'm sure that if evidence came to pass that some of the ideas weren't, entirely true, he would spin on a dime and change them, because it's not the ideas that he's being consistent with, it's his perspective on reality and his adherence to it and his pursuit of the truth that he's being consistent to.